Hello, everyone. It's Professor Jones. I hope you're having a great day. We have come to the time in our semester when we have to go down the academic research rabbit hole. Here we go. You might be asking yourself, what? Why do we have to do academic research? I know, right? But we're in school. We are in school, and even if we weren't in school, in your jobs and your careers, you want to use real data and facts. I know, what a novel concept. But important to know how to find real data and to understand what's real and what isn't. You know, a lot of my students are shocked when they find out how much they have to write when you're giving speeches. But that's the thing, as I'm sure you know by now, the basis of a really great speech is the language you used, the data that you used, the quotes that you used, all of that context, and we want to make sure that everything is accurate. So here we go, down the rabbit hole, and then at the end of this little short presentation, I'm going to take you through the library so you can see how you can access it from home. Okay, here we go. So what is academic research? Good question. What the heck is it? Well, if you read this definition, it's very lofty and scholarly and academic, but what does it really mean? Well, I'll tell you, this is basically how it works. Someone does research on something. They collect data. It takes time and energy and money and perseverance, and they get this research done, and then they write a paper about their results. They submit their paper to experts, and the experts evaluate the paper. They review the data. They review how they went about collecting the data, and they go through all of it. And then if they agree that the research is valid and that they're speaking truth in that paper, they go, boom, green light, you get the stamp of approval. And then that paper gets published in an academic journal, and these journals are available in paper form, but also online at universities and colleges all around the world, including at the Glendale Library, which students can access. And they write great papers and speeches that have real facts, and the papers and speeches are amazing, and everybody gets an A. So that's basically how it works. Now, some things are better sources than others, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But first I want to talk about what do you have to have for the informative speech. And if you look at column 1, the very first place you need to stop is the 3 to 5 scholarly sources. And these sources include articles from the library databases, academic encyclopedias, books, reputable newspaper, and a reputable magazine. You can use one of each if you want. Now, scholarly articles from the library databases are at the top of the heap. They are the queen and king of scholarly data. And then it kind of goes down: academic encyclopedias, books, newspapers, and magazines. Now, a reputable newspaper would be something like Washington Post, New York Times, LA Times, and a reputable magazine would be maybe Time and Newsweek. Maybe you'd have to really look at it. National Geographic. If you were writing a speech on Jimi Hendrix, maybe you're going to use Rolling Stone. I would consider that to be a legitimate source on music, right? So we are going to, like I said, review what's not okay, but I want to start here so that you understand what you need. Now, once you've hit this 3 to 5 scholarly source requirement, then you can go to column 2 and you can use a .edu, a .org, or a .gov. So a .edu is an educational institution. A .org is normally a nonprofit or some other sort of research organization, and then .gov is the government. Now, .org is interesting because you really have to make sure that it's legit. Like if you go to CaseyJones.org, don't believe a thing you read on that site. I mean, total fake news. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think you know the difference. You can see, do they have a board of directors? Do they give you a lot of information? Is it easy to contact them? Do they have legitimate information? If it's a conspiracy site or something racist or whatever, obviously don't use that. Well, I say obvious, but look, everybody is welcome and all viewpoints are welcome, but we still want to deal with facts. Facts, facts, and facts. More facts. You can never have more facts. So I want you to be very clear on what you're doing if you're using a .org. Just really look at it carefully, okay? So let me put it to you this way. Column 1 is first. Column 2, you can fill in additional information from column 1. So if you do 2 from column 1 and 1 from column 2, did you make the requirement? No. You have to have 3 to 5. 3 to 5 from column 1. So if you have a scholarly article, something from an academic encyclopedia and a reputable newspaper, ding, 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 you've met the requirement. And then you can go to column 2, and maybe you find something on npr.org, okay? So you can have more than 3 to 5 scholarly sources, but you must have at least 3 before you start adding in any .edus, .orgs, or .govs, okay? I hope that's clear. If not, I'm sure you'll send me an email, or you can post a question in the virtual office. Okay, so what about Wikipedia? Let me think. No. So here's my oh heck no list. .coms are commerce sites. They're selling something, so the answer is no. For instance, if you're going to do a story on the history of Nike, no go into the site and expecting that to be a scholarly source. Now, you might use that site to say this is how they describe the quality of their products, but it doesn't count as a scholarly source. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's biased. And being biased isn't necessarily a bad thing as long as you recognize that there's a bias. We all have bias, okay? It's not about that. None of us are without bias. But to pretend that we're not, that's the real problem. So we want to make sure that we're staying as realistic and fact-based as possible. Fox News is a no, but I also won't let you use MSNBC. Okay, CNN, no. Huffington Post, no. Breitbart is a heck no. All right, none of these sites that are too biased one way or the other. Wikipedia is, oh heck no squared. Now, Wikipedia is a great place to go and look for search terms or get some ideas, but it is not scholarly and is actually a disqualifier. So don't ever use it. Popular magazines like People, Us, National Enquirer, okay, no. If it's gossip, clearly that is not academic research. Okay? Now, there's plenty of academic research on popular culture, on celebrity trends, on paparazzi. There's plenty of real data, but you can't get any of this from popular magazines like that. Opinion editorials are a no. You might have heard them called op-eds, and that's when someone just writes their opinion and it gets published in a magazine or newspaper. Blogs, no. YouTube videos, okay, no. Conspiracy theories are just that, conspiracy theories. I'm not saying some of them aren't true, but you can't prove them. So you could do a speech about the phenomenon of conspiracy theories, and there's a lot of data about hive mind and all of that, but no. Your cousin's neighbor's best friend, they are amazing and super funny, but no. A paper you wrote in high school, no. Another student's paper, oh heck no. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of what you can and cannot use. Now, in the last slide, I mentioned npr.org. npr.org you can use, not just because it's a .org, but because it's more middle of the road. It's more fact-based. So you notice that even when you go to the npr.org website or you listen to NPR on the radio, there's not a lot of bells and whistles, right? It's not a .com. It's a totally different animal. So they are much more fact-based and middle of the road, and that's something you can definitely use. Okay, let's talk about formatting for one brief moment. We use MLA, the end. Thank you very much. I'll be appearing here all week. Okay, don't forget to tip your waitress. Here's the thing. Formatting your paper is incredibly important. Some of your teachers even here at Glendale are going to get real serious about how you format, and when you go to 4-year or and beyond, it is life-changing if you don't. Your whole paper could get kicked out if you don't format properly. So we use MLA, and the place to find the MLA handbook is at Purdue OWL, and that is in the research resources at the top of the modules. So if you send me an email or you put something in the virtual office that says, hey, how do you cite my book? I'm going to be like, hey, go to the MLA handbook and find it yourself. Okay, it's in there. It gives you an example, how to do it. It explains books, electronic resources, lectures from class, whatever. And so students always say, well, do I need a works cited page? Yes, you need a works cited page if you need one. And what I mean by that is if you are citing an outside source or you're gathering data that wasn't in your brain, then you have to cite who wrote it. You have to give props. It's not a problem to quote people or talk about what other people said, but it is a problem if you don't quote it. So if I hear a speech and it says something like, I have a dream, and I never hear anything about Martin Luther King Jr., we got a problem. Okay? You have to cite your sources. So for now and forever and the rest of your life, cite your sources, always. So that's the answer to the question, do you need a works cited? Yes, if you need one. Okay? So MLA is what we're using here. So learn it, live it, love it. Okay? Okay. So now let's go to the library just for a second. I'm going to show you where you can find everything. We have this fantastic website at Glendale Community College. Look at that. Look at all those great people that are being accepted to schools all across the country. It's amazing. These are Cal State transfers. And if you look at the top, you see library. Click. And here we are. We are at the library. Now, let me tell you something about librarians. They are the true superheroes. These men and women know everything. They know everything. And our librarians at Glendale are amazing. So you can always go into the library and ask for help. And you can also get help 24/7 from librarians across the country. And they're just really great. I mean, I can't say enough about the library. I know you're going, nerd alert. That's okay. Nerds rule the world, baby. All right, so here we are. What do we do now? Good question. So first of all, I just want to say, don't forget to look about all the hours and the locations. They have workshops and all kinds of things, and you can check those out. Here's the workshops. Tells you what you need. And then lots of services. You can reserve a study room. They have computers. You can borrow books and movies. You can get a book. If we don't have it at our library, they can request it from another library. Just be sure you're working ahead because sometimes that takes time. It's really great. I mean, you have access to everything. And you can also do a lot of these same things at the public libraries as well. So don't forget, if you have a public library card, to use it. Use it, use it. So if you look over here, and under research, it'll say books and articles databases. So just go like that. Articles and databases, click. Now we have many, many, many databases, but write this down. EBSCOhost, which is this one, Academic Search Complete. All right, you see that? Here's Academic Search Complete. You're going to use that one a lot, right? And if you look over here, you can see CQ Researcher. This one is more on controversial issues and current events. Credo Reference is dictionaries, encyclopedias. Gale Literary Sources, that's a good one for literature, English, books. Opposing Viewpoints and Context is something you'll probably use when we get to Persuasive for ProCon. And ProQuest has a lot of newspapers, magazines, and trade journals. But you're probably going to end up using Academic Search Complete the most. So let's just start there for a quick look. Click. Okay. So we're accessing the database from off campus. So in order to do that, you have to be able to sign in. All right. So you want to sign in with your GCC email. So C Jones, right? Okay. Let's see if I got in. There we are. Okay. So here we are at Academic Search Complete. Now, the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to scroll down, and you see this box right here where it says Scholarly Peer-Reviewed Journals. Click. All right, now you know that everything that comes up is going to be a scholarly peer-reviewed journal and works for the assignment. It's like magic, right? So you go here, and let's do Circus. There's this great article on the Circus Cemetery that I found once, and I thought it was so great. So we're going to do Circus, and you're just going to do maybe a search and see what comes up when you say circus. Well, there's 992. I mean, hello, that is a lot. So we're going to maybe need to, dial that back because that's just too many. So I'm going to do circus and elephants. Okay, here we go. Circus and elephants. The Elephant Man, entertaining elephants, on wild animals, why look at elephants, the big attraction, the circus elephant in American culture. Okay, so let's take a time out for a second. Here's the thing about the informative speech. The informative speech is teaching us about something. Informative speeches are not persuasive. Persuasive speeches are sometimes informative. So can you see why? In informative, I'm just teaching about something. There's no bias. I'm not trying to get you to do anything or believe a certain way. I'm just giving you the facts, Jack. In a persuasive speech, I'm trying to get you to do something or vote for something or take action or change your way of thinking. And I might need to teach you a little bit in order to get you to look at things a different way. That's very fundamental, but it's very important to remember that. So maybe I've decided to do a speech about the history of the circus. What it meant to little towns across the country who didn't get to see the animals that we get to see now. I mean, we've changed our mind about circuses and SeaWorld and animals in captivity. But back in the day, it was a little harder, right? Because these were magical creatures that they didn't get to see. They weren't every day. So right now, I'm going to go here, the big attraction, the circus elephant in American culture. That sounds like something that might be up my alley with this topic. So let's see what the abstract says. And the abstract is just an overview of what the article is about. Investigates the culture of the United States and the attraction to the circus elephant. Reasons for such keen human interest in the elephant. Significance of the elephant. Oh yeah, this is for me. This is definitely for me. Look at all that. They talk about just how elephants came to America, the early America and the circus. The American circus begins. Why the elephant? This is great. So I'm definitely going to use this. All right, so I want to email it to myself. Here's a tip. Always start with your works cited page. Always, okay? That's the first thing you do is set up your works cited page, because if you don't, you go back later and the databases punk you. I'm not even kidding. It's like all of a sudden you can never find it again. So you want to email the article to yourself just in case you use it, and go ahead and put the entry into your works cited page just to make sure. So this is what you do. I'm going to email it to myself. So first of all, I've opened it up. I have opened up the entire article. Okay, I'm going to go to PDF right here. See this right here? PDF full text. Boom. Here's the article, the whole thing. And now I'm going to email it to myself right here. Email cjones@glendale.edu. Comments, subject, elephants, and send. Now I'm going to get it in my email, and I have it no matter what. Then I'm going to go over here to this little page. It says Cite, click, and then I'm going to scroll until I get to, MLA. Copy and paste. Copy and paste into your works cited page. Now, you'll have to double check in the 8th edition, but I believe that you do no longer have to put the URL. But double check that. So now I've copied and pasted it into my works cited and I'm donezo. Okay? So if I don't use it, no big deal. I can just cut it. But if I do use it, it's already there. So now let's think about some other sources that might help me. Well, let's see. If you go to the National American Museum of Natural History in New York, it's a .org. It's a museum, and they have an amazing. It's an amazing place. Number one, it's one of my favorite places in New York. But they also have a great elephant display, a diorama. So maybe I'll go there and see if they have some information. So that's a .org. I know. I only have one. I only have one source so far. So maybe I better be careful about that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the library. Okay? I'm going to go back. Well, let me take one. Elements pack their trunks and leave the circus. Well, that might be something. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's also circus, elephants, and cemetery. Let's see if we can find that article. Nope, it's in there. Circus, cemetery. The only reason why I know is because I found it before. Let's see if we got it there. Circus, cemetery. Let's see. Little Dixie Circus Cemetery. Oh, it's in Oklahoma, of course. So that seems kind of interesting. There's another one. Okay, now I've got two. All right, but I still want to go and look at the Natural History Museum. So, Natural History Museum, New York. I think it's called the American Museum of Natural History, but we'll see if we can find it. Okay, there it is. It's a .org. Okay, let's see. Search elephants. Okay, so here's all this stuff about elephants. 270 results, so I might be able to find something in here. Right? Fast facts. The burdens of the beast, the plight of elephants in Thailand. Who knows? There might be something here that would work. That would be interesting for my speech. I don't know. Maybe. So then let's go back. And let's go back to the library because I feel like maybe I'm going to need something like a book. Okay, so I'm going to go to Books and Catalog. Okay, so this is another way I could do it. I could say circus and elephants. And I want to limit it to all material, reference books. A reference book would be like an encyclopedia, or I want to just do books. So let's just do books and see what happens. Greatest Show on Earth, A History of the Circus. Boom. Okay, it's available in books. Some of these are going to be available in ebook. All right. So they're going to show me where to get it at the library. There's an elephant graveyard. That sounds perfect. So I might need to make a stop to the library. But let's say that I don't want to go to the library, that I can't. I'm off campus. So what I'm going to do is electronic resources only. Okay, see, there we go. Now I can access this online. So and look at this great thing. This image would be great for a PowerPoint, which you have to have. So that's how you can fill some stuff in. The academic sources may have a lot with your topic, but sometimes you're going to have to dig around in the encyclopedias and in the books. Now, that's a quick, down and dirty overview of how to do it. But listen, if you log in and you go around and push some buttons and search around, you're going to start to get the hang of it. Don't avoid it. Once you get it, once the light bulb clicks on, you're going to be amazing and you're going to learn to love research. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. It'll happen to you. And then when that day comes, I want you to hear my voice in your head going, I told you so. All right? So get started on this. This assignment is very short. It really shouldn't take you all that long. I mean, now granted, I know what I'm doing and I've already got 3 sources, right? But okay, fair enough. But for you, let's say you really got on a roll with your data and your research, you could have the data and research done in an hour and a half. Write it in an hour, set it up as a real speech, think about your PowerPoint, and you'd be in really good shape. Okay? So I want you to think that you are the main attraction. When you are giving this speech, I want you to treat the PowerPoint as if we were all in the classroom. We are looking at you. Whether we can see the PowerPoint or not doesn't really matter because you're going to attach it to the discussion board. Okay? As long as the audience sitting in your room can see it, I want you to just treat it like we're sitting in the classroom and the PowerPoint is just secondary. So turn your computer around. Have a helper move the slides forward. Just say, next slide, please. No big deal. And give the speech. You are the star of the show. Okay? So that's just a quick little overview of what the heck we're doing with research. Let me know if you have questions. And I'll see you on the discussion board. All right. Bye.